Biblically, who are the Levites today? 2023. Who are the Levites today? Today Christians, saints, priests are the figurative Levites in Jesus' church, family. The Levites of today serve in a similar function to those shadowed in the Old Testament. They were pure, honest, humble, sacrificial, served God, represented men. We serve as a light set on a hill to lead men out of the darkness. Who are the Levites today? In the Old Testament, the Levites were a tribe of Israelite people who would serve in various roles in the tabernacle and other buildings. They were considered God's favorite because they carried out their duties without question, unlike some other tribes such as Judah who often rebelled against God. In today's church, we have what are called Levitical priests, which is a special class of priests that make up an important part of the Catholic clergy. The following article will explore how these priests operate and why they should be an inspiration to us all. In the Bible, the Levites are descendants of Levi, one of the 12 sons of Jacob. They had a special role in the religious and civic life of ancient Israel. Today, identifying Levites can be complex as it's largely a matter of tradition and heritage. Here's a table to provide some context. Context description. Historical role in the Bible. Levites were responsible for performing duties related to the tabernacle and later the temple, including music, gatekeeping, and assisting priests with sacrifices. Priesthood. Among the Levites, the descendants of Aaron, Levi's great-grandson, became the priests, Kohanim, who had specific religious duties. Today's Levites, people with the last names such as Levi, Levine, Levi often consider themselves Levites. Also, Jewish tradition often designates someone a Levite based on family tradition. In synagogue services in some Jewish communities, Levites are given the second aliyah, reading from the Torah, during synagogue services, after the Kohanim. Genetic research. Some genetic studies suggest a common ancestry for men who traditionally are considered Levites, although this research is complex and ongoing. Modern roles. While Levites don't have the same religious functions today as in biblical times, they often participate in certain religious ceremonies. For example, during the Pidyon Haben, the redemption of the firstborn, they traditionally wash the hands of the Kohanim. Remember, the idea of tracing Levitical lineage is based on oral tradition and cultural heritage. It's a part of religious and cultural identity for many people, but it does not generally come with the same roles and responsibilities that it did in biblical times. Who were the Levites in the Old Testament? The Levites were a special tribe of people who served God in the temple. They were responsible for all the religious ceremonies and rituals, and they also acted as teachers and guardians of the law. The Levites were chosen by God Himself, and they had a very important role in Israelite society. Who are the Levites in the church today? The prophet Moses was one of. Qualifications. Sons of Aaron were automatically Levites. Male, their age 25 years old, could only marry not a foreigner, i.e., non-Israelite. No blemish. Carried the ark. Set up tabernacle. Temple duties. The Levites lived in special towns called Levitical cities. They were not allowed to own land, but they received a stipend from the government so that they could live comfortably. The Levites were also responsible for taking care of the tabernacle and the temple furniture. The role of the Levites changed over time. The first Levites, and he appointed his brother Aaron as the first high priest. The Levites were divided into clans, and each clan had its own territory. They were responsible for taking care of the temple and all its furnishings, as well as ministering to God and worshiping Him. The Levites were chosen by lot, and most of them lived in the cities or towns where they served. As well as being able to minister at a local level, the leaders could travel from place to place to teach people about the law given by Moses on Mount Sinai. The Great Sanhedrin was made up of 70 priests and the high priest. They served as judges in disputes, which were brought before them from all over Israel. The Sanhedrin also acted as a supreme court of appeals for cases heard at lower levels. The elders could appoint officials to perform certain duties within their jurisdiction. They appointed prophets to teach people about God's laws, and they also appointed judges to administer justice. Father, grandfather, minister, missionary, deacon, elder, author, welcome to our family. View all posts.